January 28th, start recording. Okay, we're on camera. I need a motion to accept the minutes.
I make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Beautiful. David, would you do roll call, please?
Yes, I can. Maureen Debeguer,
Here.
Ruth Dries,
Here.
David Fornes,
Here.
John Gregg. Here. John Hess. Bobby Levin. Joyce Reese.
Yes.
Michael Zaslow.
Here.
Jerry Sutowski. Joanne Robinson. Stuart Richland.
Here.
Dominic Garnagia. Patricia Caputo. David Boas is here. Fausto Favreau.
Here.
We have enough for a quorum.
No,
Good.
Thank you.
I think the offices count as a quorum in this meeting.
Minutes have been accepted. We're going to go to financial. Monica, you're up.
Thank you, Fausto. Good afternoon. Where is everybody?
We're here.
Small crowd today,
We're here.
but a faithful crowd, right? We have a few more reports today since we didn't have a meeting back in December. So your first statement of operations is for the fiscal year ended October 31st, where we had revenues of $6.7 million. And we had budgeted revenues of $6,667,000. So we have a positive variance of $45,000, the bulk of which comes from social activities, where we had a surplus of $46,000 over budget. When it comes to your expenses, we had total expenses for the year, $6,873,000. We had budgeted $7,094,000, so we have a positive surplus or $221,000. If you look down the right-hand side of your page under your variance columns, under expenses, you'll see all the categories with two exceptions were under budget for the year. Utilities, I'm off one line. Repairs and maintenance was over budget at $89,000, and our ID office was over budget $3,300. But every other category for the entire year was under budget, which is a positive thing. At the bottom is your social activity summary. For the year, our theater income, $271,000. Dance income, $13,107. So our total revenue, $283,766. We had budgeted $236,100. So there's a positive surplus there of $47,666. The expenses for your theater, dances, and movies were $316,000. We budgeted $323,000. So you also have a positive variance there of $6,756,000. Any questions? Second page is your cash balances. Again, as of October 31st, our year end, our total operating funds were $701,000. Our windstorm deductible reserves are up to $967,000, and our contingency and infrastructure improvement reserves are at $343,000. Our total reserve funds are $1,310,000, and total available cash $2,012,000. The next page is your statement of operations for the very first month of the new fiscal year. So this is for the month of November. Our actual revenue, $563,000. We budgeted $561,000. So we have a positive variance of $2,200. For the month, our total expenses were $515,000. We budgeted $530,000, a positive variance of $15,000. So year to date, only 1 month, so $18,000 positive variance. Your theater income was $18,500. We budgeted $15,000. And your expenses for theater, dances, and movies totaled $24,000, which is right about what we had budgeted. Questions there? Okay. Next is your cash balances. As of November 30th, our total operating funds are $651,000. Our windstorm deductible reserves are $1,004,000. Contingency and infrastructure improvement reserves are up to $369,000. So our total reserve funds are $1,373,000, and our total available cash $2,023,000. Next report is, this is going to be your social activities, and we're going to have this for November and December. During the month of November, first month of the season, we had 1,750 people attending our theater performances. Our gross sales were $19,801. After we deduct the audience view cost and sales tax, our net sales are $17,397. We paid the performers $21,000, so for the month we had a loss of $3,600. You had 712 people attending your Friday night dances. We paid $1,845 to the dance bands. And for your movies for the month, we had 4 movies, 614 people attending your movies, for which we paid $1,284. So for the month between your theater, dances, and movies, we have a loss of $6,700. Next report is your social activities report for the month of December. Thankfully, our attendance is up over what we saw during the month of November, even though we had one less show. I see what we had this one. We had the holiday concert, your free holiday concert. 453 people attending the concert, but total people attending theater performances in December, 1,961 people. We collected $18,369. Our net sales are $16,188, and we paid the performers $19,250, so a loss of $3,062. New Year's Eve was very successful. 490 people attended your New Year's Eve dance. We collected $7,653. Paid the dance band $2,200, so we had a profit for your New Year's Eve dance of $4,600. So your net cost for your dances for the month of December is $3,149. It's a profit, sorry. Your movies, 997 people attending the movies. We paid $1,819, and between your theater, dances, and movies for the month, we only show a loss of $1,700. Next report is the revenue collected from guests, and this is for the 2 months ended November and December. Your collections from box office sales to residents for those 2 months, $35,091. Resident sales, box office sales to guests, $24,400. So our total sales for the 2 months, $59,500. When you convert that to the number of tickets sold, we sold 2,870 tickets to residents, 1,586 to guests. That's a percentage of 64% of total tickets sold to residents versus 36% to guests. We also included in those ticket sales at the box office, was $4,758 in revenue, because as you all know, it's $3 per ticket for each guest ticket that we sell. In your ID office, we collected revenue from selling guest pass there as well of $4,800, and in the ID our staff office, we sold an additional $1,500 in guest tickets. So for those 2 months, we collected $11,105 in guest revenue. That compares to the prior year, the same 2 months in the prior year, December ended 31/2023, where we collected $10,037. So it's a slight increase over the prior year. Any questions?
I'm going to win.
One last report. This is your Estoppel income report, and this is also through December 31. Both months, you can see the number of units being sold in the community are down from what they were last year, which is the same trend that we've been continuing to see for the last year or year plus. 49 units sold in this community for the 2 months compared to 73 in the prior year. We collected $10,410. In the prior year, we collected $15,830. So it's a decrease of $5,400, decrease of 24 units and 34%. That's it for me, unless there's any questions.
When was the last time that we ended a year without a loss in our theater?
The last year,
The last year that we ended up with a positive instead of a negative for the 12 months.
Probably prior to COVID.
At least 4 or 5 years.
yeah.
So it was nice that we're going in the other direction. So we must be doing something right.
Well, I've got ideas.
Good.
I have ideas.
Thank you, everybody.
Did you want to go first?
Thank you, Monica.
I'm not in any
Not
rush.
in any rush. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the lift station, and I'm going to send around some photos.
What are we going to talk about first?
I'm sorry?
The lift station.
Lift station.
Lift station.
Don't tell me we're gonna put a guy in the ground.
No,
With a
look
shovel.
how
We found
deep
something
that hole was.
I know.
Double the lead job.
Pennywise the clown that was living under the men's bathroom
That
floor.
went very well, and if you ever get a chance to take a look at it out there, very professional, very, meets all code requirements. Alarms, it would be Wi-Fi, also inform us, loud horn, if it ever goes off, we will know there's a problem out there, okay? Unfortunately, we won't be fertilizing the lawn anymore, you know, so. That's over for the last, 60 years, I guess that's been happening.
So in this picture here, you'll see this electrical box here. So you want to talk about that.
Well, it's fine, if you take a look at the electrical feeds in there, it's got all the, all the horns and whistles to make this thing operate like it should. Two motors inside there, standing by, all the safety features that we would need to meet code requirements for future, I'll work on that, that's not really that quick.
Not yet? Okay.
Where is that?
In
That's,
between,
that is in by the, guest pool and the resident pool,
Oh.
right there where the,
Beside the
chiller building
bathroom?
is inside there, to the left side where the bathrooms are.
Oh, yeah.
If you walk up the ramp, you can look at it from there on that side. It's actually better from the guest pool looking
Yeah.
into that right there in that corner.
it's always where the grass is greenest.
Of course.
That's how you can tell.
But it's well needed. We've always run into a lot of problems with that. It was hard for our guys we only have one pump on that. When it clogged up, we had to pull it up all the time. So it's on our preventive maintenance now to maintain, okay? As a monthly, wash it down, keep it clean. We used to have these things over at the other facilities. They were handed over to the counties and the cities of those facilities. If and down the road, if ever happens, but the county here, the strict measures that they have here, that lift station would have to even be like one of those back ones, but it only takes care of the clubhouse and partially of the clubhouse and that back building, that's what it takes care of. The rest goes to the front of the clubhouse, goes out toward the front,
Can you speak in the microphone, please?
Thank you.
What is everyone on
I
hearing?
can't hear you.
You, but not really.
I think I'm the only one
Thank
here.
you.
I'm the only one here who's not on hearing.
Okay. Testing.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Our next thing here is electrical. We
Dan,
were, I'm sorry, go ahead.
were we on or over budget?
We were over budget.
Over budget?
Yeah, with the
That's
electrical
figure.
portion that we said, the electrical portion of it. The system itself was on budget, but the electrical, $5 grand,
So we're over budget 5,000 on this
Yes.
project.
yes. On that project, yes.
Thank you.
Michael,
Thank you, Levi.
do you want to look at?
So the next topic would be the electrical issue we're having here. Over the years, we've been, since we upgraded the electrical years ago, we put new switchgear here, new panels in this building. I don't know if everybody remembers that way back. We shut down a massive job. The problem that we have with this building here is that it's a lower voltage. It's 208 inside here, three-phase, okay? So every time we add a piece of equipment, okay, it was calculated with the air conditioning to make it right about there. The main switch gear is 400 amps, okay? 80% of that is when any kind of breaker, or it's rated at an 80% trip factor. For life safety, that's the code requirement, okay? It could go over that and the wire will be okay, but unfortunately the switch gear will trip, okay? What's been happening, we added, the heaters for the pools that in the past, okay, that we have that there is probably about 100 amps in that particular case for the pool, basic gas pool that's heated, okay. We've upgraded pretty much all the humidity and systems that we have, and we still have 8 units that never were in the original contract, okay, which we'll discuss here in a minute, but the original contract was because when we started this program, those particular units were okay. They didn't meet the 10-year requirements, but it took us almost like close to 3 years to go forward and move in the direction. So at this point right now, they'll be coming up, okay, to be replaced. I think the only one that we replaced so far, if I'm not mistaken, is, it's here in the clubhouse, is the locker room one, and plus the one that's in the ID office, okay? So that's 2 out of the 8, so we got 6 more that are still left. And those, I did put all the horns and whistles because there wasn't any problems inside there to meet the requirements that the engineer specified on those particular units. But the other 6 that we have left, because they're in big rooms, will have to meet those requirements with humidity, thermostats, things like that, that we'll have to control with the heat, which those don't have either, okay? We had put heat in every single other unit. Now remember, we used to always have heat, but never really used the heat, okay? Now we use the heat for humidity, okay? So when it starts basically being used, okay, a lot of draw happens inside there. When we put the lift station in, okay, not that it really put it over the line, because the lift station will come on and off, but those are motors, and anytime you have that kind of a surge, it will put the amperage up until it starts, okay? But it tripped the main breaker. It made the main switch 4,000 amps, okay? Thought it was me as an electrician, when that happens, you got a problem. The main switch does not trip that easily, okay? You definitely know that you reach. So they went back and they basically turned off the main heater for the guest pool, okay? At that point right now, turning everything else on and off, we had no problems, but it's telling you that we reached, okay, the max, okay, where I can't put no more onto this facility, okay? So, the only way, I'm gonna bring in an electrical engineer to give that explanation, but it's happened in the past as an electrician being out in the field, without changing the switch gear to upgrade, okay, because that's a very big heavy cost, is to add, to separate basically the chiller building, which normally they do. The chiller building is normally a separate meter, okay, because that's the biggest draw, 600 amps right there for your chillers, okay. You would just draw and tap off of get an engineer to design and basically put a panel coming right off of the vault, okay, into the chiller building and re-tap there. Then we don't have to do any more of changing out the switch gear. You have more than sufficient amperage to do anything else you want, okay? But that again will have to be designed by an electrical engineer to analyze, so that I could give you a better explanation when it comes through there. But that is the least expensive way than to try to change the switch gear to upgrade that, okay? Which a lot of man hours, a lot of, and again, that switch gear, you might have to pull new wire due to the fact that, you know, it might be short depending on all the sizes of the new equipment, okay? But again, we're working with this, and because of the cold, we're seeing it more, okay, right now. But it's holding right now with what we did by eliminating that heater for the pool. It's still being heated through the other process. We had two systems inside there, okay? But when it does get very cold, you're not going to get that pool to work. She's going to probably get complaints. So just tell the residents at this point right now, it's in a standby position until we because I'm not going to put it on. The more you trip a main switch, the weaker it gets, okay? So
What's the temperature supposed to be in the pool?
86,
at the outdoor pool?
yes.
They complain at Wellington all the time also about our pools.
But your pools are not heated.
Yes, one is.
Yeah.
One is, okay.
Well, you know, when it gets very cold,
Yeah.
their heat pumps on, I'm not
That's
gonna
what I tell
stand by.
people.
Normally, it takes a little while to get back up and heat generating, you know, so it's not like a gas heater,
I
and
know.
it instantly gets you heated. But this particular pump, when it gets down to 40 degrees or 50, under 50, you're gonna have problems with your heat pumps coming back on,
Of course, yes.
you know, okay?
It's also a very low pool, for a lot of water.
So, we'll leave it at that until we get an electrical engineer to analyze that, okay? And then we'll come back, and that will be, again, we're okay, next year's budget, we'll see what goes on to fix that situation, you know? And again, it was always a
Michael,
thing here.
Michael.
The problem is to change over to high voltage, we tried that, okay? It was a massive expense, okay, to change the transformer that feeds this building, okay? You would have to pay FP&L, okay, and to go to a high voltage like all the other facilities are in the other century villages, okay? They're all 480, 277, you're 208, 120 here, you know, so it's a big difference when you start adding all these lights. And luckily, let's tell you the truth, man, we're practically all LED here. The two biggest things in a building in the past was your lighting and your air conditioning, you know. So could you imagine if we were back in the old school with the old lighting here, you would have been tripping a long time ago. Okay, so the progress that we made to bring it up to times, it decreased the amount of amperage, you know. So we'll see what it's going to take to do that job, okay, compared to a switchgear replacement, okay?
So basically what you're saying, we're gonna split a panel. We're gonna make a separate panel and split some of the services, one to one panel and one to the
There'll
other.
be 2 meters now, you know, but one will be for the chiller building, okay, just by itself, and then the rest will stay in the switchgear that feeds the building already. So you're separating there's a switch already there that feeds the chiller building. So what we're gonna do is just eliminate that feed to that chiller and put a new line coming right from the vault. Cheapest way to do it, you know, but let the engineer, you know, basically draw that up. Okay. And going back to air conditioning, we just now learned that there was a finalized bill, okay, from CJM Construction, because we never actually paid them off 100% on the original contract, because they had a last and final inspection, okay, what it does with environmental, whatever it was, they walked through. It was done probably about a month or so ago, okay, and we got the bill in, which was.
Got a bill dated December 23rd for $16,985. The last payment we made to them was payout number 10 in October of 2023 for $88,000. So I had completely forgotten that we even owed them money because we've not heard from them since then until this invoice arrived at the end of December. And they finally billed the final amount that was due us because they had for some reason, a delayed inspection
Yes.
that was finally passed. And they added that to this bill and made the final bill, $16,985.
We don't have to, you're gonna pay it, we don't have to say, hey,
I'm sorry?
So we don't have to, wait.
Well, we're just bringing it up to you, it was
Yeah,
approved,
yeah,
it just
yeah.
it took longer than usual to get a bill from us, you know, this was way back when we had
It
to
should
go
have been billed
for the
in
original
last
contract that
budget
we
year.
had, you know.
So we can either code it to air condition in this year, which we don't have a specific budget for this, and perhaps be over budget, or we can take it from your reserve funds.
If you're looking at me, I would take it out of reserves, because it has nothing to do with this budget year.
Right,
I agree with that.
I agree.
okay, I mean, because that's where we were paying for the project from before, so. But as you can see from the cash report, we're continuing to build up the money that we spent, so. As of the end of November, in our contingency reserve, we were up to $369,000, so. Taking
16,
16,000,
17, right?
you know, we'll recoup that in 1 month. Okay. So everybody's okay with that? Take it from reserves, okay. Thank you.
Next is your Southampton.
Okay,
Not me, my phone's on.
the next is Southampton Pool. Everything's moving along. We've had some changes, and I will bring that up towards the end, but I need to bring up something that's happened there. If you remember way back, we used to have a problem with the shopping mall that was on the side that was backing up water, okay? The county fixed that situation, okay? When we went to put the bathroom on the outside, it had to go to code, okay? So the pitch had to go around the building, back and tie into the line that pitches from there to Donald, the building is which one, G? Southampton C. There's a manhole down there, a sewer manhole, where a 4-inch line, actually it goes from a 6 to a 4-inch line, okay? That runs to that manhole, okay? Donald and myself are aware. Donald's basically getting a hold of the county due to the fact that the water is backing. Now that we put this pitch in, okay, at the lower part, it's backing back up into that clubhouse, and massive amount of water from the washing machine, because it's soap water, okay, it's coming out on this pipe that we have inside there. So we have to, and the pitch is going to that manhole, so something's causing the pressure to come back. And we're gonna try to, we have to find out if the county has, which Donald's working on that first before we can move any further on this right now, because we gotta resolve that. That's per code, that pipe, the way it's in, and we can't change that pitch, you know, so that's where it stays. And the pitch goes towards that building, but I don't know how long that's been going on. The only reason probably we've never seen it before, because we had a check valve when we were having that problem, okay, that anything that was coming back, it would stop that water flow, you know. Now that we took that off and tied back in, now we're running a problem, not from the plaza now, but from the building. So it could have been way back. Well, that should never have been tied into us anyhow from the plaza to ours.
Right.
You guys play sewer and water. And I was telling that to Donald, you know, making sure that that was isolated from that, because it is tying in still from that location over there. We need to make sure.
With the laundromat.
Right, that is, because you pay water out, you know, from the sewer, so, you wanna make sure, you know, that's taken care of. So we'll look at that, and that's one situation. Everything else has passed. Electrical is coming up, I think, for inspection, if not already passed. But that's moving along. Other than that situation, I can't close ground until that gets resolved. Okay, hopefully we find out what's causing that, you know? And it's a clog over on building C side, going out to wherever it was, and maybe they never do it, you know, so. Okay, there is some changes inside there, what Monica has brought to my attention, okay? And I think it's a difference, and because we had to do the pool there, okay, because the pool was in bad shape after we drained it. And I figured that we'd just take this money that we were gonna do for Kent, if I'm not mistaken, and just do that pool there, because that pool really needs it, even though Kent really needs it, and we already got this pool, we might just get that one 100%, okay? And just get out of that location, and then next year we'll budget Kent, okay? Just we're not forgetting Kent, I'm doing priorities, and when we go over budget somewhere else, we need to take it from some other place so that we don't go over budget, okay? all right? And this just tells you what the condition, when you wait too long, you're gonna see all kinds of different things that are wrong. We're looking at 60 years plus that we have not done work in any of these pool houses, other than placing a door, putting a face mask on here, okay? So you gotta expect that. It's just, we're lucky that they're not falling apart, that's the,
I remember some years ago, I remember with Barbara Cornish, you took us over to the Southampton pool many years. So nothing was ever fixed over there?
no? That's what's always the discussion here, that, 5 years later, 7 years later,
We actually had monies that were approved, and we were supposed to move forward, and I don't remember what it was that came up that we
Every year for 5 years.
it was always turned down, yeah.
Oh, okay.
We
So I
had to
remember
move the
going to
money
look at-
somewhere else where we needed it more, so we
Yeah.
gave up that
It's
project.
just I remember looking at it some years ago.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say what you just said, every year for 5 years,
Yeah.
we had X amount of dollars, and it was like, oh, we gotta get this done instead, so we'll move the pool to next year. Same with,
Well, Dave will be the first one that we suntanning in a all well done pool now.
That's what
you know, 'cause
buildings are for.
it's 100% redone completely. And again, if we did this, again, every pool that we did over in the others, every year, it catches up with itself and you're done with it, And the maintenance really reduces 100%, I mean, when they're big facilities, but you only have 5 satellites, that's why I always push this thing, because 5 satellites are easy to get out of the way. If you spend $250,000, it's over with for another 25 years,
The
So-
materials today are so much better.
And when you have this many residents, pitching into a $25,000 is nothing. It really isn't. And I know 25,000 is a big number, but I look at it as a big deal. If it was only 200 apartments, then yes, they're all gonna be assessed a certain amount of money. That's the only good benefits that you have with Century Village, is that it's a large community. When that little, when it comes to a big project, that you're able to just pitch in maybe $50, $25 to get this thing done, And it's good that we're moving in that direction for the people in Southampton, and now we'll go to the next pool, which I think would be that we have next year,
Yes.
And that has other issues there, because that was an old laundry facility, okay? And it was abandoned on the back pipes, and I've been trying to tie into that system too with the drainage, okay? To try to utilize that, where we're gonna put the bathhouse. It's gonna be cheaper to do the bathhouse there because there's already a building there, so it's basically putting a wall together and getting the water to it and the drain. But since we abandoned that so many years ago, the drain, that's a separate drain that went for the washing, just like your system that you have right now, where you have over there your washing machines, okay? It has a lint trap and everything inside there. I have to just bypass that, and try to find that pipe. It would be a lot cheaper for us than to redo what we just did here at this particular pool, okay? But it's beneficial that we don't have to remodel the other ones to be ADA, just remodel them the way they are, and then just put an ADA bathroom that's his and hers. Okay.
Porta potties won't work.
Some people got upset with that. We tried.
They're better in cool weather because it keeps the smell down, but over the summer months, thank you.
So my last and final thing is the ID office here. We had it dried out, okay? We had it cleaned out. We pretty much think that it could have been an accumulation of some water that was in the stairwell from whatever in the past, okay? The carpet that was there, we repaired the air conditioning there, okay? And there was a leak from the window that was in a corner that they found. So we're getting prices right now to repair just the sheetrock that they took out, and also the floor to be replaced and painted, okay? So that's the only thing that we're at the stages of right now to finish up with. But right now, if you walk in there, it's been drying out for almost 2 weeks. It's dry as heck inside there. You don't have no smell, okay? And I had the ductworks coated inside there, so everything is like brand new inside there. So we're hoping that, I don't see any wood on the
That's
head,
the
but
final fix.
that is the final fix to get this thing, because that room has always been a problem, It's just one of those rooms where we did a lot of things to, and just finally, and again, that particular room was not in, because the air conditioning unit was okay at that time, And we're talking about how many years, 5 years now, since we first started the project, way back when we first had the engineering design, Okay. Any questions for me?
We've been busy.
This one's the easy one. This is the easy village, but, okay, I'm done. Unless you have something.
I just have the men's sauna. I just wanted to report that we're finding, now not just leaves, we're finding chunks of wood that they're throwing on the heating element.
Oh my God.
So this happened right after the November meeting. We've stepped up security. I mean, they walk in there, they're sticking their head in that sauna, so people know that we're keeping a very close eye. We've not had a repeat. Had we had a repeat, I might be saying to you, let's shut it down. But right now, we're just gonna let it go. And if it picks back up again, I will bring it to you, but it's season and we're gonna let it go for now. All right, so just wanted to mention that, but I will say, next budget year, we definitely need to put this on the agenda, on the budget, so that we can put in a different heating element, that they will not be able to do these kinds of things. I mean, really, after the woman's sauna fire, but you know, they do what they want. Can I say?
Crazy.
It is crazy.
Well, just to say to add to that, I mean, I'm okay. I told her that I really, last time we just shut this down, unfortunately, for a few affects a lot,
That's what happens.
Yeah.
But we definitely have to do what we did in the ladies' room and change it out, Whether it's a little bit warmer, it's fine. It's never gonna cause the problems that we had. We've had one in for over 10 years over in the Boca that's been there. People get used to it. It gets hot, believe me. I walk in those things, it's just as hot. It's maybe 5 degrees to 7 degrees warmer than the other ones, but it's a lot safer for everybody's sake.
Now, there's no exposed heating elements, so
Okay.
since common sense
And
does
we
not
haven't had any
prevail.
problems with the ladies, but they don't use it as much as the men, but it's, no comments from them either using, the ones that are using it.
I really think the people that are doing this with the leaves and the branches and this, I think they're European, and I think that they just do different things in their saunas. And even though we tell them, not here, folks, they just do what they want, as most people do everywhere. That's one of the problems we run into. All right, so one of
New
the
York,
other.
right, in New York, the Russian baths.
Mhm.
See those?
Right, right, beach.
Exactly where you see this coming from, if anybody's from New York. Those bathhouses, they used to do those kind of leaves to get the smell.
Right,
Throw them in those heating elements, but they were meant for that.
yeah. All right, Abby, you want to go ahead?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I came not only to let you know that I am in the process and almost done with the booking of, believe it or not, the 25-26 season. And as I tell you every year, I know that sounds ridiculously early, but in order to put out offer letters, get routing, do the riders, do the printing, do the marketing, get your approval, it takes months and months of work. So I would like to know, would you like to do my meeting that we typically do that's closed? That's just for the committee after your next M&O meeting in March? Or would you prefer a separate day?
No, I think we've always done it that way.
Whatever you want.
What happened to February?
We won't be ready by February.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Always
All right, I
present it in
understand.
March.
Yeah. So we'll do it after your M&O, and then Eva, maybe, would you like us to bring lunch in?
Why not?
We're on diets.
Okay.
What's that, March what, 31st?
March
March
25th.
March 25th.
Oh,
Diets.
Yes, I think that's the last show.
So we'll do it
No,
right after your
It's
meeting.
not the last show.
Okay, next
We got the
last.
Saturday show is the last show.
Next last.
Right.
And I do want to say that I think you're about $20,000 down this year compared to last year in income. So I am a bit concerned, which is why Eva is going to discuss the next topic, because we want to be proactive. I'm more than open-minded to listen to if you have problems with the programming, if you think that that's the cause of it. I don't have answers. You upped a little bit at Fausto's suggestion, which was great, up to $13. Are we too high? I don't think so. You're certainly less than the other Century Village. You are less than any Venetian, Valencia, Kings Point. I will tell you that Kings Point and Delray would not have shows if they didn't open to outsiders. Every show is 800 people or more, charging $25 a ticket for a guest, $18 for a resident. And I just, you're obviously never going to get rid of the theater. You have a big, beautiful theater, but to deprive the people that do go and do support it would not be. We would like to get more people in. So the discussion that Eva's about to have with you is some ideas that she's gotten, we've thrown around, and I would love to hear your thoughts.
Okay, I guess that's me. Okay, so in opening up theater sales, we thought we would pick a couple of communities, Golden Lakes and Cypress Lakes. Reach out. I think they have entertainment directors there on a much smaller scale, but be able to reach out to them and see if we can set something up where they can purchase during the month for guests, like we do here. You know, our residents get first pick at the first month, and then we'll open up to guests, but invite them to be able to purchase, still pay the $3 guest fee. I know a lot of our residents that have moved over to both, and I think they'd love the opportunity to come back. So that would be a starting point. I don't think that I would get any negative feedback. I think it's an opportunity to put more butts in seats, which means more revenue, and so I'd like to give that a try as long as the committee wants to give me the green light.
How would that work for them to even get in the gate to buy the tickets?
Well, that's a good question. We have to work that out. Either we have to make sure they're close enough that we can just drop off the tickets.
Okay, yeah,
And then they have them in hand, which gets them right through the gate.
okay,
I also think that Kamisha, you all know Kamisha?
yes.
She's very, very personable, and I think that if she or Eva were to establish a relationship, we do this down in Pembroke Pines with one other community, maybe two. I know there's one for sure. One. Establish a relationship with the social director or the president of the committee, you know, and work out the logistics as far as how to get them in. And, you know, we can, if we can get the money, if we can get the income and get the people in, we can find a way to solve that issue, because that's the easiest issue to solve. So, I mean, our goal here is to get income into this theater, and listen, let's be honest, it's nicer for performers, more energy in the audience.
Of course.
You know, you all know the feeling. So I don't think that there's anything that I can do to change in the program. I'm open to any constructive criticism you all want to give me. I'm happy to take it. But there's only so many things out there. If you look at the Kravis Center programming, even they are having tribute shows these days. You know, the Kravis Center would not be alive if they didn't have the orchestras that they have, and they didn't have Broadway across America. We are not going to have a Broadway show. I can't get a Broadway show. We're not a union house for a variety of reasons. So there's only so much programming out there. I'm begging right now Frankie Avalon's manager. You know, I don't think this is a shot at it, but I'm begging. I'm trying.
Still alive?
Yeah, he is, one of the past few. But you know who all passed away just last month? Caskell's on Broadway, Freddie Roman, Dick Capri, and Malzy Lawrence.
Yeah.
They're all gone now,
All gone.
unfortunately.
All the old timers.
But anyway, our goal is to watch your numbers and try to do everything we can in our best, you know, put our best foot forward. And, you know, you're always going to take a loss, you know, which Fausto came up with, which I think was a great idea. And the loss is in your budget, so hypothetically, if we lose $50,000, $60,000 a year, it's divided amongst the unit owners, it's in your coupon, but everybody's contributing to the loss rather than you paying more, you that go to the theater and want to be entertained paying more for your ticket price.
And I would have to say that I don't think it's abuse programming at all. The feedback I get from the residents are just rave reviews. And so what I think it is we've sold a lot of units. We've got younger people that have come in. A lot of them are still working, they're not retired. And they're also younger, they have their night vision, so they are recreating outside of the village. I think that's the reason we've also seen a drop. But I'm hoping that we can fix it by inviting other communities in. And if you have friends in communities outside of Golden Lakes and Cypress Lakes, and you'd like to see us try it there, then certainly let me know what those communities are. But this coming season, I would like to concentrate on just those two to see how it goes. I believe it will be successful, and then we can take it from there.
I think it's a great idea.
Yes. Yeah.
I just would like to say that the Tuesday shows and Saturdays, not so far we've had in January and this month, we've had good turnouts, good attendance, it's been pretty good. You know, tonight we're not at capacity, but we're close.
You're close.
We're close.
basically you have, depending upon the number of weeks in a month, you have anywhere from 9 to 11 shows. And, you know, that's not a whole lot of shows for an entire month. And we only have, if you think about it, 3 months to do the seasonal shows where we can get routing. The rest of the year it's Saturday nights. And it's harder and harder to find talent. It's harder to book the summer than it is the season because we're dealing with local talent, anywhere from $900 to $1,300, $1,400. It's impossible to find it. It doesn't exist. And, you know, we know we can't go higher in money. We could potentially cut out every other Saturday night to save the money and see if people would come. But you know as well as I know, you're gonna have an uproar of 200 people if there's not a show on a Saturday night, because that's what they're conditioned, that's what they're used to. So,
It's about what we have in the.
yeah, you have 150 to
You know,
225.
the theater's not even close to being,
No, it's not, no.
Not in the
you
summer.
know.
I'm looking at the last 2 months. Pretty much 23, 24, we were averaging 24, 25% of people from the outside. The last 2 months that you have here, we're at 40%.
Correct.
So there's more people coming from the outside than we have here.
So
We have
that's,
a lot of guests.
that's, that's, which is great, because it's more income for us, and that's why, you know, Eva's idea, I think, is wonderful, and we're gonna go out and try for it.
Right, everybody's in agreement that I should try?
We're gonna try, right?
David.
If it doesn't work.
How are you going to, you're just gonna solicit and these people aren't gonna have to be called in?
No, that's not.
Any guest that purchases, the ticket that they have gets them in through the gate, nobody has to call them in. That's their entry into the village.
Okay, don't they have to be whoever if I have someone coming in from the outside, I'm responsible for that person.
I don't know, I guess I could talk to Donald if we think that this is an issue and we want, I can certainly get a list of names and provide them to the gate. I mean, this is all still in the talking stage. We're gonna have to have a list, so they can certainly have it, but even if they didn't, the ticket is supposed to get everybody in.
I understand that, but your rule was that you have to be with your guests.
Yeah.
If you're just going out and soliciting without having to have anybody sponsor that, that's a change in the policy.
Well, this is why I'm asking if this is okay with the committee, and then we need to sit down and say, well, then we would have to make sure we do it this way so that everybody feels comfortable with what we're doing. So again, this is in the talking stages. It's just being born, and it's a good points you're raising. And so,
My
yeah.
point about that
Yeah.
is if you're gonna do it for the shows, and everybody's gonna say, well, how come it only applies to shows?
Yeah.
I agree.
And how come it
Yeah.
doesn't apply to somebody that you bring in as a guest at the
Right.
clubhouse?
Or the dances
Well, I will tell you that we have people who have friends outside of the village, and they help them to get their tickets, and they come in without their
That's
resident
That's
host.
what I was gonna say, yes, that's very true.
My
My friends
guess-
in Cypress Lakes, I have a friend who buys tickets for them, and she doesn't go to the shows, she gets the tickets for them.
Mhm.
Yes, but she is responsible because
What do
she's
you mean
the one that,
responsible? How is she responsible for what?
she's responsible for their conduct.
She gotta use her, that's what he's saying, she needs her ID in order to get them the tickets.
But she doesn't, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So, you know, and then they're responsible for letting them know there's a dress code, that no colognes and perfumes are allowed. Otherwise, you know, look, people behave. The worst thing they do is light up their phones, which we're always going after them for that. We did have fisticuffs in the theater a couple of months ago. One of them was suspended and the other one was pulled into my office, and I gave him a stern talking to, because I believe that a lot of alcohol was involved in that. So, you know, generally, it's a question. We want to offset the loss in the theater. This is the only way that I can see doing it. But I'm more than willing to sit down with anybody who wants to be part of that conversation. And we can figure out how we want to go about doing it so that everybody's happy with it.
Well, that's what she's asking. Yeah, John, go ahead.
I make a motion that we do this, and at the next meeting, come with a plan, so everybody can say, yeah, go for it, you know?
Would you consider that promoting it, having a designated phone line where people can call, they pay for the ticket with their credit card, and we mail them the ticket to their address? This way, when they come to the gate, they already have their ticket.
Correct. Yeah,
I mean, my guests come in with a ticket, I don't have to call them
Yeah, but
Right.
somebody's gotta buy the ticket.
in. I know.
They can purchase them online.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Alright,
and
so-
we don't even have, and then the ticket
But,
is, they're not allowed to print the ticket, but the ticket will be at will cost.
so that means the receipt of the purchase would be the thing to get them in at the gate. So that's again, something else we, how
But
we look
instead
at
of
that.
beating all this to death,
It's fine.
Think about it over the next month.
Yeah, well, you have to try something.
yeah, come
Yes.
back with a plan.
I think she also needs to reach out to see if there's interest.
Yeah, come back with
Why
a
make
plan.
Well,
plan if
that's
there's
what you're
no
gonna
interest?
find.
Yeah.
You're not gonna like,
The social directors, they're gonna have their own things going on, so that way they would only present certain shows that didn't conflict with anything that they were having in their little clubhouses. So again, there's all these little moving pieces and parts that we're going to see how we can pull it together, and if they're even willing. And
Eva,
if
do
they're
you
not,
have-
then
I'm sorry, do you have contacts at the two communities?
not at this time, no, but Kamisha's looking into it, she's been reaching out, trying to see
So
who.
we're talking about Cypress Lakes and what's the other?
Golden Lakes.
Golden Lakes, not Tennis Club.
We certainly can. I mean, we can certainly reach out there as well, it's close by, so we can add that to the list.
I have a good contact at Golden Lakes.
Great.
But not Cypress Lakes at the moment.
Okay.
I have friends who come here from Cypress Lake. I can even ask her, who's the social director.
Absolutely, anybody who has friends there and can get that information, great.
I don't think they have one.
Yes,
Cypress Lakes does not have a social network.
they don't,
Because
okay.
they don't have any entertainment. They gave it up like 2 years ago, no interest, they couldn't get any acts, they couldn't get any, they don't have entertainment, but they would be interested in this, I believe. I can get more information and I'll send it.
Right, it would be great if we had a resident there that would take it on and, organize the different residents and be the
I'll find
liaison,
out.
so that would be
I-
great.
yeah, I have friends
That
who
would be a
come-
dream to find that.
Yeah, I have friends who come here from
No,
Cypress.
the way it works in Pembroke Pines is very simple. If they have one of the, their committee there that's equal to your operations committee is called the M&O, Management and Operations Committee. And they have a committee member who has a sister that lives in this one community. And she does the whole program herself. She goes to the people there. She
We give
Finds
them,
out.
we give them 100 brochures,
Yeah.
100 order forms.
She takes all their
it-
money, she
takes all their
comes to the
money, and
clubhouse.
She comes to the clubhouse and,
Yeah, the audit forms that we get,
yeah.
they can be brought
Yeah.
to the different.
Right, and that's why we want to
Fill
pick,
them out,
yes,
and what if you had, just a thought, what if you had those guest tickets be a different color than our ticket?
we absolutely can.
Maybe have them be red or something, I don't know.
Oh, we have a variety of colors, we can make sure.
Or
Mhm.
white, that way when the ushers, especially getting them into the into the gate, into the clubhouse, and then into the theater, automatically you'll see it's a different color and it's a guest ticket.
That's
Mhm.
Instead of a resident of
Well,
Central Village.
they would have to print all guest tickets, meaning like if you buy a guest, it wouldn't be differential because they're the outsiders.
Well, no, for the outside venue.
Right, but then we'd have,
Just a thought, it'd be easier to pick out, or
We
something
don't,
better.
we don't really need to,
we don't.
there is no reason.
Yeah, there is no reason, unless,
Well, it was a thought that went in my head.
they don't want to discriminate, we want to welcome them.
David?
I think, the bottom line is, I just feel better if we are supporting the revenue, the people that are using it, rather than putting it on all the people of the village. And, either you're gonna raise the price of the tickets to do that, or you're gonna get creative with something like this. And don't forget, we can try it for a year. And if we got a problem, we just don't do it
Good
again.
idea.
But I just feel better that we make an attempt, other than raising the price.
Which is
You know.
exactly what Fausto did, other than raising the price of the ticket.
Right.
He said, we'll take the loss on the back end in the budget, and we'll show a loss in the budget. If we make money, that's great, which we did ultimately this year. But this way, the entire community is supporting the loss, rather than
Not just the
penalizing.
theater goers.
Right.
Rather than penalizing those that like to patronize the theater. So, It's one way or the other, but you wanna support the people that support the theater, and you don't wanna raise the prices too much.
And this is a way to make an attempt.
Yes.
You're
That
making-
if it doesn't work.
Exactly, and if it doesn't work, and we may not know it will or will not work, and we're hypothetically gonna lose $50,000, or that's what I budgeted, maybe next year we're gonna put in 60 or 70. But the point is that we wanna make every effort, and we want everybody in the community to pay the losses without penalizing those that patronize them.
Right, and, you know, I respect Dave Boas's thoughts, and, you know, we can come back next month and with some other ideas of how to try to minimize it, you know, such as keeping track of the names of the people who are coming in. They have problems with a person, that person's just not allowed in again, you know, or whatever, and see if we have
Let's let
problems.
them get here first.
Well,
Yeah.
we have the same situation in Pembroke when it comes to the golf course. You know, everything, for it to survive, it has to have outside. And again, they have a name, they have to call through the gates, okay? And of course, if anything ever happens where they do something wrong, they won't be allowed there, you know, to come through there again. But the only way it can survive is to have outside, and
worth
it
the try.
does not put the rest on the rest of the community.
Right.
So it's happened in Deerfield too, before they lost their golf course, but that's how you keep, you know, that's how people thought that they could do this without a problem. But again, if you have a problem, you take that person out of the loop, you know,
Right.
so, but it has
And
to
the
get
problem-
cleared through security, just like anybody
Right,
else.
and the problem would be on site, so security will take care of it, or the staff, or the ushers.
Right.
We're gonna take their ID, or their driver's license, and we're gonna call the police if it's that.
Okay.
Right, okay.
Well, listen, incident reports will still be written. You know, I will make my phone calls, and then they won't be allowed to come back. So we'll just deal with it as it comes, and
I think it's a great idea, like David said, we'll try it for a year. It's not,
nothing is ever written in stone. We tweak as we go.
Should we start it maybe in the summer?
No, I'd like to start it tomorrow.
Yeah.
How about next week?
Start making
I'd-
phone calls.
I'd
Start
start,
making phone calls,
I
see what
wish we
happens,
could
see what
start
you
it
get.
tonight, because we would sell out tonight.
Yeah.
definitely.
Right, without a doubt, we would sell out tonight.
Sold out, the Lyric has 2 performances of it, and they're both sold out, and the tickets are $50.
Well, and we used to sell this show out, so for anybody who wants to know who we're talking about, it's the Bronx Wanderers.
Yes.
How many
and-
years now, 15, 16?
Huh?
They'll come close.
It's such an action-packed show. If you haven't bought tickets, I'm going to say, buy them and come. You will not regret it.
Well, we had
I can remember
925.
when they used to, not only the Bronx Wanderers,
Yeah, tonight.
but they used to hack their tickets on the corner here.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
For
yeah.
$2, and when I first started working here, all I could think of was 42nd Street in New York. And I'm thinking, why are they waiving $2? Who could they get for $2? You know, this is like-
No, Freddie Roman they used to stand outside in Boca, I'll never forget, with $2, and the tickets were $1 at the time, and Freddie Roman would be like, I'm only worth $2, and then the residents would scream out, no, we wanted 2 tickets.
Another story, when Freddie Roman was here, he said he doesn't have an intermission because everyone would leave to run out to the parking lot.
Do we have, are you done this evening?
Yes, I am. That finishes us up.
Okay, do we have anything for the good of the order?
I just had a Dr. Wall's question, it's not about anything.
Just
here.
remember, you're on camera, so be careful with what you say.
I just want to know about the pot.
You want
Can I
to
bring
try?
pot?
I'll put the
Can I bring
camera
my pot and give it to an 80-year-old woman who's on meds and she has to go to the hospital? Will I get barred from the clubhouse?
Abby says, you know, we need to just quit our jobs and we need to write a sitcom.
Would I get
Because you
barred?
can't make
Hey,
this stuff up.
Would I get barred from the clubhouse?
Eva, before we
Okay.
continue with this, maybe we should let everybody in the room know what we're talking
Yes.
about.
You want the
Yeah, I think.
So we had, yes, I had a report that came across my desk that somebody bought cupcakes with marijuana in them, did not notify anybody, and I believe was even handing them out. So we do have footage showing the person putting them out on the table. Donald was kind enough to identify that person. And so this will be turned over to legal, and I wanted to see what we can do and really go after him in a big way. So personally, I'd like to see him banned permanently. I don't think that'll work. That's going to happen, but it's unbelievable to me. And this is not his first time that he's done this.
And you give it to an 80-year-old woman who's on big-time meds.
You know what?
Guys, I'm gonna jump in here because this is an active criminal investigation.
Hey, it's
So
all
let's
right.
just be careful.
She called me.
Eva and I have discussed this, And for the time being, the person that's of interest will not be allowed to bring food into the clubhouse. Are we still good with that, Eva?
Yes, but I have to get that out in writing, so, and I've also placed a call, I'm waiting for a call back.
Okay.
Because, yeah, there's two issues at hand, so we're gonna take care of both.
I say.
I mean, we're all laughing about this and giggling, but
It's not funny.
a 92-year-old woman was quite unwell
Oh,
and had to be taken to the hospital in
I
an
didn't know that.
ambulance. So we want to just be careful how we're discussing this. This is a serious matter.
She called me the next day.
John, this is a
Okay.
serious matter, right?
I know.
Is there anything else for the good of the order? All right, it's a wrap. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Michael, shut us down, please. Thank you.
I thought we were at Turn Back Island and stuff.
Thank you, Michael.